This is Kogarashi, a boy who can see ghosts and has psychic powers. He's currently homeless, but after helping an elderly couple against his spirit, he takes their directions to the hot springs inn, rumored to have ghosts running around. As soon as he reaches the inn, he enters the hot spring bath only to find out that the ghost of the inn is actually a beautiful girl. Unfortunately, she knocks him out with a bucket after she realizes that he's actually able to see her. Once he wakes up, he meets the innkeeper named Chitos, as well as 3 other girls living inside the haunted inn. Upon heading over to his room, he sees another ghost sticking out from a wall. Once finally pulled out, she introduces herself as Yuuna, the ghost of Yuragi Inn. He then explains to her that he's a psychic, so he's actually able to see every part of her. She then explains that she's a bound spirit, meaning she can only sleep inside his room. Of course, our Chad doesn't mind having Yuuna as his roommate. At night, Kogarashi reveals to Yuuna that as he grew up, he kept getting possessed by spirits, causing him to be passed on from guardian to guardian. Eventually, he tried to fight the evil spirits himself by becoming an apprentice to a medium. Suddenly, a mouse rattles Yuuna, causing Kogarashi to be flung into the air where he accidentally lands on top of Yuuna, which causes him to be flung out the window. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure watches over the inn. The next day, Kogarashi rushes to the inn to defend Yuuna from the mysterious figure, who reveals himself as a Guma monk of the Guden clan. As the monk tries to force Yuuna to ascend, Kogarashi is able to defeat the monk and tells Yuuna that he will help resolve her lingering regret so she can ascend to heaven. Afterwards, as he gets blasted by Yuuna like Team Rocket once again, he lands on the hot springs, where the other inn guests are having a bath. The next morning, Kogarashi wakes up elevated in the skies due to Yuma's powers accidentally activating while she sleeps. As she attempts to apologize, the two run into Sagiri and Nanko, who reveal that they too can see Yuuna. Sagiri then asks Yuuna if she's okay with having Kogarashi as her roommate, as he can both see and touch a ghost. As she recalls all the sussy moments, her powers activates while she tries and defends him from Sagiri's questions. Regardless, since he promised Yuuna that he'll help her ascend, he won't be changing rooms anytime soon. Suddenly, Yaida comes out of hibernation and appears from under the table. Not confused as to how Yaya has a tail, the innkeeper walks in with breakfast to explain, but she gets interrupted by the Gudun clan outside. The battle then commences, where Sagiri uses her special technique, followed by Nanko, who uses a monk as a bowling ball with her superhuman strength. Then there's Yaya, who finishes off the rest with a giant spirit cat. In the end, Chitos sends the entire clan packing by manipulating their luck. The next day, Chitos reveals that she received a petition to evict Kogarashi, so you must now win a 1-game traditional Yuragi Inn match to not get evicted. It turns out that the 1-game match is actually going to be doubles ping pong, where he's able to easily score the first point. Fortunately for him, Kogarashi has been previously possessed by a ping pong coach, allowing him to go to ping pong nationals. Sagiri then counters by using Naruto clones. However, Yuuna returns every serve with her powers. In the end, Kogarashi and Yuuna win thanks to her powers, but Yuuna accidentally sends them all blasting off again. He then trips on a ping pong ball and accidentally lands on Sagiri and Yaya. As Yuuna dreams of Kogarashi, she wakes up unable to find him, so she floats around panicking and looking for him. However, Chitos lets her know that he had to leave early since today is his high school entrance ceremony. Now that he's a psychic, Kogarashi is stoked to have his first ever normal year in school. Unfortunately for him, Yuuna has followed after him to school. Before class, he reaches his hand out to stop Yuuna from exposing Chizaki, but he gets blamed for lifting her skirt. After another accidental moment, Yuuna ends up lifting everyone into the air, where by happenstance, their teacher walks in, assuming everyone is slacking off. After getting lecture on the first day of school, he introduces himself to everyone as a spirit medium, but no one believes him except for Chizaki. She reveals that on one specific night, her stuffed animals started to fly around and needs advice. She ends up bringing him to her room, where he proceeds to beat up all of her stuffed toys. Unable to find and exorcise the spirits within the stuffed animals, he sends Yuuna to try and find his seal inside them, but one of the toys suddenly scare her, causing Kogarashi to fall on top of Chizaki. After getting kicked out of her house, a masked figure appears around the corner. As Chizaki contemplates on whether or not she was too hard on Kogarashi, the animals come alive, only for her to be saved in time by Kogarashi. They then attempt to find the culprit by following the spirit lines, leading them to the masked figure earlier. It summons a demon spirit, but Kogarashi is able to easily defeat it. After its defeat, the figure reveals themselves as a young girl. After apologizing, she introduces herself as Koyuzu, part of a supernatural raccoon clan. She explains that for her to transform into an adult, she needed to see Chizaki's chest, since she has the best features. In awe, she looks at them one more time. The next day, Kogarashi wonders how a bound spirit can fly around so freely everywhere. Yuuna says that after trial and error, she's only bound to the inn when she sleeps. After talking some more, the two encounter a thankful Chizaki, where it's revealed that Koyuza now lives with them at the inn. The next night, Sagiri is on a mission to dispose of a hair-eating monster, which she easily completes, where she then mentions a known group of psychic ninjas that hunt down cruel spirits at night. Meanwhile, at school, Kogarashi and Yuuna run into Sagiri, who turns out to be in the same year as him. She's known as Akino, and she's super popular due to her attractiveness. However, Sagiri brings the two to the school rooftop, where she asks to hire him for help with hunting down a spirit. At night, before the meeting, two guys trouble her, but she easily defends herself. Afterwards, she gets Kogarashi to change into an outfit, and they head to a park to investigate. It turns out that the victims of the park are always a couple, so she needed his cooperation to lure the spirit out. As they walk around the park, the black fog refuses to appear, so they lock arms to try and look more like a real couple. Suddenly, the fog appears, and after a powerful punch from Kogarashi, a massive spider spirit is revealed. Sagiri then instantly takes care of the spirit, but she gets sent flying only to be caught by Kogarashi. Afterwards, she thanks Kogarashi for helping her, but he comments how she looked cute in her outfit earlier, causing her to get flustered. Please leave some love if you watched this far. For the next few days, Sagiri is kept wondering whether or not she should wear that same outfit. Regardless, at dinner, the group talk about how Yaya is possessed by a cat god. Later, Chitose announces that she's leaving for her annual Hot Spring Association's trip and asks if everyone will be okay. Since Chitose is now absent, they get cat food for breakfast. During dinner, they get junk food, and when they finally get decent-looking meals, it turns out that Yuuna actually swapped vinegar and cooking oil. With disaster on the rise, Kogarashi takes his turn and cooks an amazing meal as he was once possessed by a legendary chef. After his legendary meal, Yaya started to follow him around everywhere. She even follows him to the bath, saying she'll wash his back for him. Confused to why she's stalking him, Yaya reveals that she wants the same legendary meal again, but this time for her cat god since it was so amazing. Afterwards, Yaya asks if he would grill fish for her sometime again. Back at school, Chizaki wonders what Yuuna is like, so both Chizaki and Yuuna start to communicate with each other by using notes. Eventually, Yuuna reveals that she's been staying in the same room with Kogarashi, causing Chizaki to freak out during class, so she gets punished by the teacher to put away materials after school. Later, after finishing her punishment, she lets Yuuna inspect her school outfit. One after another, it leads to a sussy scene with Kogarashi walking in. Eventually, the girls get close enough that Chisaki wants a parting gift by taking a picture together. Unfortunately, since she's a ghost, she shows up as an outline of an actual ghost on the picture. Back at home, it's revealed that Nanko is actually a manga artist, and she shows off her room. With a strict deadline due tomorrow, the three end up spending the entire night working on her new release, where Nanko uses Kogarashi as a male reference for her manga. Later, as Kogarashi is amazed that Nanko hasn't drank the entire night, she reveals that she used to be a spirit hunter like Sagiri, until she got badly injured, causing her to try and live life to the fullest rather than do what she's told to do. After pulling an all-nighter, her assistant sprints out to hand in the manuscript while she celebrates with her first drink of the day. The next morning, Chitose cooks up a hearty meal for the entire group before they depart, much to everyone's delight. As Chitose heads out as well, she almost encounters Kogarashi heading back home as he forgot his gym clothes. To avoid the duo from seeing her, she sends a boar towards their path to distract them using her luck manipulation. As she barely escapes, it's revealed that she's been going to school the entire time and she doesn't want the others to find out. As she's strolling along and having fun in school, she runs into the school principal who used to be friends with Chitose since he was young. But since Chitose is a household deity, she stayed the same age. Later, while grabbing food, Chitose and her friends are bothered by a bunch of punks, so she sends bad luck their way only for Kogarashi to show up and defend her. The next day, Kogarashi and Yuuna head over to the Yukamiri hot springs to fulfill one of her regrets. Yuuna then shyly asks if this counts as a date because she's always wanted to go on one, to which Kogarashi agrees and attempts to go along with it. As he checks in, he says to the receptionist that he's on a date, but she can't see anyone beside him, causing everyone to think he's a weirdo. Regardless, they head to a shop because Yuuna needs a bathing suit, and at the shop, Kogarashi picks one out for her. As they continue to try and do more date-like activities, like ordering a special couple's drink or couple's cake, he gets refused as it's for couples only. Unable to do much at a couple's hot springs with an invisible date, they head on to a water slide as their last-ditch effort. With a wardrobe malfunction, they exit the slide with a massive splash, causing Kogarashi to become unconscious. Later, After regaining consciousness, they spend the end of the day trying to relax at the hot springs where Yuuna asks if they can come back again, but this time with the normal Kogarashi.